I'm 87. Some days I wake up and the house feels too big, too quiet, and I remember that the people who made it feel alive aren't here anymore. I try to move slowly, carefully, because my bones protest, but I keep moving, partly out of habit, partly because I think if I stop, the memories will catch up and overwhelm me. And sometimes they do. I used to think that turning 60 was just another milestone, that I'd have plenty of time to fix the small regrets that gathered along the way. But the truth is, 60 is when the world begins to quietly slip through your fingers. I didn't notice it at first. I was busy still proving myself, still working long hours. I told myself that I would spend more time with my family later. Next weekend, I'd say, or after the project is done. There was always a reason to postpone, and that's the lie, the biggest one men believe after 60, that there's always a tomorrow. I remember my 40s and 50s vividly, though. I was working at a firm, the kind of place where they praise you for staying late, for missing your kid's recital, for saying yes to every demand because ambition matters more than presence. I believed it. I believed my daughter would forgive me. I believed my wife would understand. I believed that the love that started with ease in our 20s would survive neglect in our 40s. I thought we had plenty of time. I had a friend back then, a fellow named Paul. We were both ambitious, always chasing something. One evening, we sat in a bar after work, drinking whiskey, and I said, "I should spend more time with my daughter. I feel like I'm missing so much." Paul nodded, drained his glass. "Don't worry, man," he said. "There'll be time. We've got years." I laughed, because it sounded right. But now I think about that conversation a lot, and I want to shake that younger version of me, tell him that Paul was lying, even if Paul didn't know it himself. There isn't always time. I see it in small ways too. The way I skipped my son's first baseball game because I had a meeting. The way I didn't call my mother for months because I was busy. The way I told my wife I'd help with dinner, then stayed at the office late, thinking I'd make it up another night. Every small postponement added up, and by the time I realized, decades later, that those moments were precious, they were gone. There's a quiet, insidious cost to believing you have more time than you do. It doesn't come with a headline or a crash. It comes as absence. My wife, for instance, she used to hum while she cooked. That humming filled the house like sunlight. I rarely stopped to notice it. I thought it would always be there, a comforting backdrop to my busy life. And when she was gone, I realized the humming was gone too, that no matter how much I wanted it back, it would never return. I can still hear it sometimes when I close my eyes, and it makes me ache in ways I didn't think possible. I worked hard, yes. I was proud of what I accomplished. I traveled for business, earned respect, had my name on a few awards. But it doesn't fill the empty spaces left by missed presence. No promotion, no accolade, no accumulation of material things can replace a birthday you didn't attend or a conversation you put off. I see men like me, older, still clinging to their schedules and their sense of importance, still believing that their world revolves around productivity. They all look lonely. They all look tired. And in that loneliness, I see myself reflected. One of the clearest memories I have is from when my wife was sick. I was in a meeting in a distant city when the nurse called. "It's urgent," she said. I asked for details, and they gave them to me. But in my mind, I calculated how fast I could get home, what my obligations were, whether I could finish the meeting. I should have left immediately. But I stayed. I stayed because I always stayed, always thinking I could manage both worlds, that life had infinite margins. I arrived too late, and in that hallway outside the ICU, I learned that some things cannot be caught up on. Some moments are one and done. I think about my children a lot now. I have grandchildren, one of them just old enough to ask questions that are complicated and fascinating. And I try to answer, but I can't undo the times I wasn't there. I missed first steps, first words, first nights spent reading stories because I believed in the lie, that there would always be more time, that I could make it up later. I can't. I have to accept that. There were evenings long ago when I sat with friends over wine, talking about our plans and ambitions, not realizing that we were silently saying goodbye to each other in small increments. One moved across the country and drifted out of touch. Another passed away from a heart attack I had no warning of. The distance between us wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, but it was inexorable. I never realized how much of life is lost in these unnoticed departures until there was no one left to call, no one left to laugh with at 3 in the morning. I think men over 60 need to hear this. You can't catch up on life by working harder, by planning better, or by hoping that the future will make up for your absence. Time is not forgiving. Time is not patient. It only moves forward, and it takes everything you've neglected with it. I try to make amends in small ways now. I call my daughter more often. I spend hours with my grandchildren, though the hours feel too few. I tell my friends I love them when I see them. I write letters. I ask questions. I listen. But these acts, as precious as they are, cannot undo decades of postponed presence. They cannot bring back my wife. They cannot bring back the birthdays, the recitals, the quiet evenings I skipped. The losses are permanent. I remember a morning last winter. I woke up early, the kind of cold morning that makes your chest ache, and I looked at the snow falling outside the window. I realized that I could see this scene one more time, and only one more time, and I had a choice: to sit in silence, or to reach out to someone. I picked up the phone and called a friend I hadn't spoken to in years. He answered groggily, not expecting my voice. We spoke for an hour. I felt a little like a man breathing after being underwater too long. It wasn't enough, but it was something. If there is a lesson in all of this, it's not easy, and it isn't neat. It's raw and persistent. The biggest lie men believe after 60 is that there's always tomorrow, that we can fix mistakes, show love, be present, later. But later doesn't come. Later is gone, just like she is, just like my father is, just like those friends who drifted away. The life you postpone is the life you lose, and the truth is, there is no make-up for it. I am 87. I am tired. I am grateful. I am sorrowful. I watch the seasons change from my window and try to remember which moments I cherished and which I let slip by. I tell my children, my grandchildren, my friends, don't wait. But I know that advice may come too late for many. I hope it finds someone who will listen. I hope it reaches someone who can still change the trajectory before time, in its quiet cruelty, closes the door. If this means anything at all, I hope it's that you will not wait for life to give you permission to be present. Speak, hold, notice, linger, pay attention. Say the things you've been putting off. Call the people you miss. Touch the lives of those you love in ways that matter. Because when you get to my age, when you look back, you see the truth. The time you thought you had is not yours. The time you waste believing in tomorrow is gone forever. And I am left with what I have left, which is enough, but never what I needed most. I am 87, and I finally understand that the lie I believed shaped the sum of my life, the lie that there is always tomorrow.